Hi, everyone, and welcome to That One Sec Guys podcast. Today, we have with us a very special guest, Mr. Armaan Pathan. Talking about Armaan delivers expert information security consulting services by day, but wears his hacker hoodie to hunt for bugs by night. He is also one of the most active bug bounty hunters across multiple platforms like Yogosha, Synac Red Team, HackerOne, and Cobalt.io. Also, some of his key highlights are that Arman was invited to Facebook Bug Bash. He was also awarded the most critical vulnerability founder by Yogosha, the bug bounty platform, and has also been awarded by Singapore government for his efforts in vulnerability detection. So, folks, we get a chance to obtain some of his insights into the world of bug bounty hunting. And thank you so much, Arman, for taking out the time to do this. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Lovely. So, Arman, let's get started by understanding some of your motivations towards this journey, right? So, what initially drew you to the world of bug bounty hunting?
Okay, so before start into bug bounties and how I got into bug bounties, I would like to discuss that how I actually got into cybersecurity. So in my 10th class, I got very bad marks. So and I used to play gaming a lot on my computers. So my parents decided to cut off the internet connection and thought that it might help me to study a bit more and I might get more good marks. At the time, Facebook and Orkut stuff was very famous, and I just wanted to use my Facebook account. So I went one of my friends' home just to use Facebook. So he was like, okay, fine, you can use my internet connection and use my computer to access your account. I didn't knew that he was using some sort of plugin. So when I logged in into my account, what that plugin did, it logged all of my cookies. And after surfing the Facebook, I logged out and I went back to my home. Next day, all other friends told me that why you are dropping such messages, why you're posting this status and all stuff on Facebook. At that time, I came to know about that okay, fine, that friend has used my cookies to get access into my account, and now my initial thought was to take a revenge, that how I can hack into his account. But I actually got very fascinated that cybersecurity is very cool. I mean, there are lots of things apart from that I can do. So I referred certain books and blogs and all stuff. Back then there was no such that much of resources which we can use to utilize. But yes, I used certain books and all stuff to get a basic knowledge about cybersecurity. So back in 2012 13, the bug bounty was very new, and everyone used to post about I got this much of bounty from this company or something like that. I had a basic idea about what is brute force attack, what is cross-site scripting, what is CSRF, and a basic knowledge of a SQL injection, that what is SQL injection and what an attacker can do with that. So I thought, why I should give a try, that maybe it worked for me. So I made an account on HackerOne and started reporting bugs. But it actually didn't work for me, and many of my bugs went as duplicate. I reported NA and all stuff, and then I thought that okay, it will not help me out. I need to practice and learn more. So at that time, there was a Twitter account known as publicly disclosed. So what it was doing, it was tweeting all the HackerOne reports which are disclosed either by the researchers or by companies. So by referring them, I came to know that what type of bugs actually a bug bounty hunter reports, and uh, how to report, how I can increase my knowledge in certain certain ways. And then again, after giving 2 or 3 months, I came back and started reporting vulnerabilities. Although I have faced duplicates and NA, but again it took like a month or two to get my first bounty. And
Hmm.
that's how I got actually into bug bounties. And obviously I was in a college and I'm getting bounties in dollars. It is
Wow.
it is very cool, right?
Absolutely.
So that's how I actually started into bug bounties.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. So, you started as a vengeance mechanism for your friend and it ended you rewarding a whole new career.
Yeah,
Awesome. Good
actually.
stuff. So, we hear a lot of these things like public bug bounty programs, private bug bounty programs, and there's the whole process to how the bug bounty process works, right? Like triaging happens. So, if you can just give some insights into what these terminologies are, how the whole process works, be it on different platforms as well.
Okay, cool. So I'll start with the public bug bounty programs and private bug bounty programs. So there are many platforms, and each platform has both of these programs, like public and private. So for public programs, company has it is for anyone who one wants to report. They can come to the platform and report from that particular platform, in which company has already shared the scope, that okay, this is the scope, and for this vulnerabilities, this much of amount will going to be pay.
Hmm.
And yes, as I have said, that anyone can come and report the vulnerabilities,
So, these
wherein
vulnerabilities are tied to the severity of the vulnerability.
yes, exactly. So let's say if you are reporting a normal rate limiting attack on a login page or maybe 2FA page, then it will land on a low severity, right? Or maybe, and
Hmm.
then if you report a SQL injection or maybe command injection, then it will land on maybe high or critical. So that's
Right.
how they differentiate the impact, the classification, that what is a bug, if it's an injection or it's a client side or it's a server side, and what would be a final impact, that how
Hmm.
it will affect to companies, clients, customers, and company's budget. And
Hmm.
and after figuring all this stuff, the company pays a bounty.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Great. So, how has the whole landscape of bug bounty evolved over your experience? Because I'm sure you've been doing this a long time. So I know that for a fact. Earlier, we used to find a lot of SQL injections, but over time, WAFs have gotten powerful. So, and all the defense mechanisms have also upped their games. How has the whole landscape of bug bounty evolved according to your experience?
Yeah, exactly. So back in the days, finding SQL injection was very easy. Finding access was very easy, because at that time, developers were not aware about all the security mechanisms. They were not aware about WAFs and all that how the WAF works. And also, there were not by default protection was there in libraries and also. So nowadays, first of all, developer has enough idea that what can be done if certain vulnerability is getting exposed on this particular module. So
Hmm.
let's say there is a field where user has to put their username, right? So now developer knows that the user can maybe put a JavaScript, maybe can inject a SQL query that can actually maybe inject on a client side, or maybe inject on a server side, or maybe query can get executed on database. So according to that, they take up security measures and
Hmm.
build a website. And on an additional layer, nowadays people uses various webs, firewalls. So yes, things are a bit different, but obviously, it webs and all stuff don't prevent all the attacks.
Of
There are
course.
certain logical issues which can't be fixed by web. There are certain bypasses which you can use if developer is not aware and using vulnerable libraries that
Hmm.
can also expose certain vulnerabilities. So yes, bugs are that
Yes.
it became a bit difficult, not that difficult, but yes.
Correct. That's correct. So I think even these days there's some plugins like retire.js that do
Yeah,
those dependency checks for these kind of vulnerable components.
yeah.
Interesting.
I was actually, let me just discuss about one of my test cases. So last week, I came across one parameter which was not escaping any sort of entities. But the thing is, it was very it was allowing very limited HTML tags, and it was allowing the href tag.
Hmm.
So I thought, now I thought, okay, fine, it's a straight away XSS.
Hmm.
And I can simply use href tag to execute the JavaScript. When I tried to use event handlers as well as the JavaScript colon alert one, it removed all the JavaScript functions. And then I did a bit research, and then I came to know that they are using some sort of specific JavaScript library,
Hmm.
and it has a feature that if someone is using href tag, and it does the href tag doesn't have a proper URL, which is like a protocol url.com/path.
Hmm.
If doesn't match, then it will remove the payload, or
Wow.
maybe remove so it is bit difficult, but yes, there are certain ways you can use to bypass it.
Right. So is there any fixed approach that you have built over time by doing a lot of these bug bounty programs, and what kind of approach can you give to people who are starting out their careers in bug bounties?
Yes, so you will not believe, I have been hunting on one program from 2018 till the date.
Oh.
Yes. Uh, so what people do, go to the hackerone or bugcrowd, create an account, and select a target and start finding a bugs.
Hmm.
If they'll not get a bugs maybe in a day or two, they will just leave a target and get frustrated, or maybe try to jump on the target. But
Right.
that's not how bug bounty works nowadays. Every company has their own security team, right?
Yes.
Every company knows that how, which are the tools and which technologies we can use to prevent from the cyber attack. And obviously they also go from various pen tests and all stuff.
Hmm.
So obviously they have covered the basic vulnerabilities. Now the challenge comes with us to understand that how actually application works, what type of technologies they are using. You need to read the documentation of the application. You need to understand the business of the application, that why that particular application has built. And once you understand the scope and the documentation, it will be very easy for you to identify the bugs in each and every module. Now you know that if I am entering this input from this field, then where it will reflect. If I am browsing this endpoint, then which type of data it should give me in the response. If the data is
Hmm.
being changed or it is fetching some another data, then it should be a vulnerability.
Hmm.
That's how
Hmm.
you actually it will make you easy to find a vulnerabilities. It is not a rocket science, to be very honest. That's what I feel. It's not a rocket science. You can give maybe a week to understand the application, read the documents, and then
Hmm.
give a try and stick to the program. I can
Right.
understand frustration comes. You can change the target, but try sticking on the program.
So, you would say that it is more important to stay patient and keep hunting on a specific target rather than to try and put your time on choosing the right program. Is that what you're saying?
I don't say that you should not change the targets, to be very
Hmm.
honest, but my focus is you should not keep changing the targets. Change the
Okay.
target.
Okay.
Okay, you have changed the target. At
Hmm.
least spend a time for a month or two new technologies. Maybe they are very secured.
Hmm.
Maybe they are using very new technologies. Can totally understand that. Even if it you know very experienced bug bounty hunter hunts on certain programs, they will not be able to identify the security vulnerabilities because it's very secure program.
Right,
So
right,
yes,
yeah.
things happens, but that's what I suggest, that at least try to give a month or two to a single target.
Hmm. So, Arman, what are some of like the coolest tools and techniques that you use in your day-to-day bug bounting hunting? Because everyone these days are using SQL map and all, but are there any non-conventional tools or any custom-based scripts that you had to create in order to bypass something?
No, so that's a very funny thing which everyone asks me, but you will not believe I totally do a manual testing. My favorite tool is a Bob suit.
Buzzword.
Yeah. So yes, obviously I use Subfinder, HTTPX, Nuclei,
Hmm.
then Nabu. I use various Bob suit plugins such as IP Rotator. IP Rotator is one of my favorite plugins because obviously you are doing bug bounty. You have to fuzz on each and every parameter.
Hmm.
You can't put a single code and decide that okay fine, this is not vulnerable with SQL injection. You will be injecting like 10 or 15 payloads on each
Correct.
and every endpoint.
Hmm.
And what happens, WAF gets triggered and it blocks your IP. Now it's very frustrated. So what I use IP rotators. So
Hmm.
what it does, it uses AWS API gateways, and it assigns a new IP on every new request.
Hmm. Hmm.
So usually web doesn't blocks my attempts.
Hmm.
Apart from that, I read JS a lot.
Right.
So there are lots of hidden endpoints which you can actually use to you know uh, find IDORs and privilege escalations. And yes, reflector. Yeah, that's it. That's what I do. I
And
don't
when
do.
you are sending your requests to repeater tab, right? And you are sending to, doing some parameter modification and then resending those requests, replaying those requests. And while enabling IP rotator, even those repeater tab requests, they all get assigned new IP for each and
Yes,
every
yes,
request.
yes, yes.
Okay, that is very interesting. And these, I think, are most effective in places where we are trying to bypass, let's say, OVA web gateway using a
Yes,
password spraying attack or something.
yes, yes.
Very interesting stuff. And so, what are the some of the craziest vulnerabilities that you have found, maybe in recent times or in your entire experience?
So you'll not believe I have found. I cannot say it's a 0 day, but it was not posted anywhere else. I've reported Bob suit, but they said that they are aware of this vulnerability, and they will be posting a fix in their next update.
Hmm.
So I found a vulnerability in Bob suit's upstream proxy. So let's say we both are in the same network,
Okay.
in the same Wi-Fi, right? Now you are using Burpsuit and you have just set up the proxy in your browser,
Hmm.
and now you're just browsing. You are not intercepting the traffic, but your traffic is going from the Burpsuit. Now you are just browsing normal any sort of website and all stuff.
Hmm.
What I'm doing, I'm just doing a man in the middle attack. And now whatever things you are browsing, I'll be getting in a plain text. You are not getting any sort of notification. I'm not forcing you to install or download or set up my SSL certificate. You are browsing HTTPS traffic, but I am getting all data in the plain text. So
Okay.
that was a 0 day. That's I can't say that it's a 0 day, but there was not no single post for that.
So,
And it
was
was a
there a downgrade kind of a scenario that you did during this attack? Is it a HTTP downgrade kind of an
no,
attack?
no, no,
Nothing.
nothing. You are just using normally. And
Okay.
so there is one tool called Deboki.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, red teamers uses that tool to intercept the traffic and do a man in the middle attack. So what that tool do it forces users to install the custom
Mm.
SSL certificate. So if they will not install, tool will not allow them to browse the internet. But there is an
Okay.
option where you can disable that particular function, so it will passively listens all the traffic. But in that scenario, it will only listen HTTP traffic, which is a plain text traffic, right? But
Hmm.
what so let me explain the whole scenario in that. Whenever you set up your Bob suit, install CS certificate in your browser, right?
Right.
Which means you are giving your browser permission that whatever traffic it is going through a burp suit, send it in a plain text.
Hmm.
Now, when now your traffic is going in a plain text. When I am doing a man in the middle attack, what burp suit thought that now I have to send all of this traffic to a upstream proxy.
Hmm.
So it was sending all the traffic to me, believing that I'm sending traffic into upstream proxy in a plain text. So I was getting all the data in a plain text.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's something I've
that was
never
very
heard
cool.
of.
Yeah, a very cool bug which I have found.
Wow.
There
So
are certain other cool bugs. But I to be very honest, I'll not be able to disclose those bugs. But yes,
okay.
this
So
was very
at this point you cannot disclose because of responsible disclosure. Lovely. But this is a very interesting bug. I mean, I've never actually come across this kind of a bug, and it's very fascinating to always learn from bug bounty hunters the new kind of things, right? Because um, I also recently had a conversation with another bug bounty hunter who founded some of the most basic GraphQL based vulnerabilities during its very origin, right? When Facebook released it and it was still in its origination process. This guy has used GraphQL's mechanism, the way GraphQL works, to its query language and alias names. He has used that to DOS, and actually even he's created a botnet to DDoS a very crucial payment gateway that uses GraphQL API. So, these are not kind of things that you learn in OWASP Top 10 or some
yeah.
of the trivial learning courses. This is what, comes from experience.
Yes,
Great.
exactly.
Brilliant. I also wanted to explore, Arman, that what is the financial viability when somebody is pursuing the path of a bug bounty hunter? Let's say they have 24 hours to do this, like they don't have a full-time job. They want to do bug bounty hunting as a career option. What is the financial viability of a person like that?
Okay. So, before jumping into bug bounties as a full-time bug bounty hunter, you need to understand that your income will not be a static income.
Hmm.
It will fluctuate. You have to treat your bug bounty process as your 9 to 5 job where you have to give a dedicated time.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that give 24 hours or just keep sit in front of computer whole time doing bug bounties first, but take it as a job. At least give 8 hours, maybe 8.5, and you should not give up. You should keep reporting the vulnerabilities. You might face lots of duplicates, but you should keep reporting the vulnerabilities. You might face burnouts.
Hmm.
Take a time, sit back, take a break, and after 2 or 3 days again hit back to the targets.
Hmm.
And there will be a time in which you will not get a single bounty in a month. There will be a time you'll get like 15-20 bounties in a single month, or maybe there will be a time you'll get like $50,000 in a single bug. So yes, the outcome is very fluctuating, but the thing which is very important, you have to take care of your health. So it will create a bit mental stress if you are not getting the bugs, or if you are not receiving the bounties, you are facing duplicates.
Hmm.
And at that time you have to understand that, okay, fine, you have to take a chill pill and uh, try to relax your mind, go out, have a walk. You
Hmm.
should be doing some sort of physical activities. Just go to gym or take a walk. That should be your daily routine, to go a gym or to take a walk. So yeah, that's it. And keep keep learning. I mean, there are lots of things, new things coming each and every day. So you should, you know, keep reading the blogs, try solving the labs.
Hmm.
What I personally prefer is solving this pen tester lab. It, you know, it has very good technologies and all stuff. You can
Hmm.
solve it, and it will be very helpful for bug bounty hunters, to be very honest. That's what I believe. So that's what normal people have to think that, before starting the bug bounties.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. And is this like a high risk, high reward kind of a thing? Because they of course don't have any static income coming in. So the moment when they find a bug, does it actually compensate for all of those hours that they put throughout the entire month?
No, it's not like that. It totally depends on the severity and its impact. Okay, fine. You have reported a vulnerability. You believe that it's a bug, but as per company's business, it's not a bug. Then why would they pay the amount? They will
Hmm.
obviously say no. Maybe they will, pay a small amount, because for your efforts that you have put to identify this issue, or reporting this particular issue.
Hmm.
I'll tell you a story. So I was doing about I was hunting on one target 2 months ago only.
Hmm.
So I found one endpoint which was leaking JWT tokens, and I used that particular token to exfiltrate the data, which can only be viewed by admin user. I
Okay.
and I've reported like almost seven bugs, seven different IDORs. Company was very impressed that, okay, fine, I have found these vulnerabilities, but they have discussed with their developers, and developers said that, okay, fine, this particular endpoint is not displayed in the front end,
Hmm.
but by using our backend API calls, this is a very basic feature to fetch the
Hmm.
data.
Hmm.
Now company was also not as a security team was also not aware about this. So instead of marking all of my bugs as informative, they paid a minimal amount on each of my bugs. That, okay, fine, we were not aware, there is no documentation for this, you are also not aware, so for your efforts, I will be paying this much of amount. But yes, this happens.
Understood. No, I think this also makes sense, right? Because some of the times what you may do is you are actually testing a system which is maybe in their UAT environment, and there is an
Yes,
extremely well implemented network segmentation done in the organization. So it will not really matter if there is an RC on a system that is in the UAT environment, right? Because you're never going to be able to
yes,
pivot to the production environment. And that's pretty much why bug bounty hunters, they might think that this is extremely impactful and it's a
yes,
9.8 severity bug. It
yes,
might not be the case when you can see it in the
yes.
organizational context.
Yeah, so I have seen the case where people reports a vulnerability, and application is using containers, right? For each and every different values, they are
Hmm.
using containers. Now
Hmm.
they have found a SQL injection vulnerability. Okay, fine, it's a critical vulnerability, but what type of data you are able to exfiltrate?
Hmm.
If there is a chunk data in that particular container, then obviously now you are very restricted, and you will not be able to exfiltrate any sort of sensitive information.
Hmm.
As a company, I might pay as a medium for that. I'll obviously, okay, fine, I can only understand that SQL injection is a critical vulnerability, but there is no impact to the company. I'll pay as a medium vulnerability. So yeah, that's the scenario which comes in the bug bounties, and that's why the output is not that very static as compared to jobs. But
Hmm.
yes, if you get bounty, it drains the bounty.
Of course, of course. Interesting, right? So, what kind of predictions do you have that you can see AI getting implemented in the bug bounty landscape? Does it help bug bounty hunters? And if so, how exactly? Or is it a threat to bug bounty hunters?
AI is very, good thing for
Mm-hmm.
both companies and hackers as well. So I guess 2 or 3 days ago, Yobert, who is the founder of hackerone, tweeted one like post that HackerOne is also developing their own AI. So they were just training, and they said that their AI is able to solve the CTFs, and
Okay.
they have plans that it will be enough strong to find all the basic vulnerabilities.
Hmm.
Okay. So yes, that's a basic threat for not for only bug bounty hunters, but all the security researchers or security engineers. But it's not always like that. There are certain things which AI can't do, and which for that the manpower requires, right? The logical bugs, the bypasses that can't be done by AI. So for
Hmm.
that, obviously, bug bounty hunters and security engineers required. So yes, it's not like that. And talking about positive signs for researchers and bug bounty hunters, let me discuss. Take my scenario. So I found one vulnerability. It was a basic XSS. So I decided that why I don't escalate this vulnerability with maybe account takeover,
Hmm.
and observe that in order to perform that, I would require a specific token which is getting disclosed in that cookies attribute.
Okay.
Now each browser was treating attributes very differently. So I was using basic for loops to iterate all the attributes and fetch that particular attributes value. Now browsers are changing. They are treating very differently, and I was
Hmm.
not actually able to do it. I
Hmm.
spent at least 2 or 3 days, and then I took a help of ChatGPT. Within 5 to 10 minutes, I was able to fix that issue. So
Wow.
yes. So that is very helpful. You can use AI to write bypasses. You
Hmm.
can you know as a researcher, if you want to you want that, okay, I have found this, can you please write me a vulnerability? It will write whole report, and you just have to copy paste it. So yeah, that it's a plus for researcher as well.
That's good insight. And also, what I always tell people who ask me questions about how AI is going to impact is that AI is at the end of the day trained on data that has been collected. Right? It is not trained on data or information that it has not seen yet. Bug bounty hunting specifically, a lot of the focus goes on the kind of vulnerabilities that have not been foreseen yet, right? Like the one that you told about HTTP. I'm pretty sure no AI could ever be doing this, even if a fully AI based pen test as a service machine gets created. I'm pretty sure that's going to never do this. So that element of human introspection is always going to be unique, and AI can never replace that. It's only going to be able to enable the researchers to do their job more efficiently.
Yes.
And we are also these days talking a lot about smart contracts, and also I personally see a lot of smart contracts based programs on HackerOne and all. How the bounties differ for these, and if they do, and also is there any different kind of a mechanism that goes into finding bugs for smart contracts when in comparison to mobile application or web application?
Yeah. So basically, smart contracts they pay a lot. I'm not sure the reason that why they pay a lot, but they pay a lot. That's for sure.
Hmm.
So for mobile and web application, company uses this HackerOne, bugcrowd, Synac as a platform. No doubt there are certain programs are there on HackerOne and bugcrowd as well, but there is one specific platform, Immunify. It is for specific smart contracts. So there are lots of smart contracts and based targets, blockchain based targets over there,
Hmm.
and you can go there, find vulnerabilities and their smart contracts, and report it. So basically they uses so this blockchain and all stuff uses different type of smart contract, and uses solidity programming
Hmm.
to build their program. So some of them are public, so you can go them, read the contracts, and if you find a vulnerability, you can report it. some of them are like, you know, try and try and error type of things which you can report it. And obviously it also have some sort of, you know, OWASP type bugs like injections and all stuff, which also you can use to, you know, find vulnerabilities. But yes, this type of bugs usually people find in you know, blockchain based targets and all stuff. More
Interesting.
likely illogical vulnerabilities are more exposed over there.
Okay. So this I think is also the same case for APIs, right? Where
Yeah,
logical vulnerabilities is a major chunk of
yeah,
the
yeah,
category. Interesting. Yeah, and I think in APIs that's a very undermined scenario, because we test for all of these OWASP, but if we are really able to understand the business functionality of the API, that creates a lot of logical test cases for us to be able to test upon.
yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting one.
That's why I have mentioned that, you know, from 2018 I am hunting on the same target.
Okay. So you collect more and more information and gain
Yeah,
context
yeah.
onto the
I,
API.
I I totally monitor their, you know, assets, their API collection, their documentation. I follow them on LinkedIn, Twitter. If I see a tweet or a LinkedIn post that okay, fine, we are releasing this module, I just go there, I try to read the documentation, and I know that I'm going to find a vulnerability in this. So yes, it is very important, you know, to check all this logical vulnerabilities in API collections.
And I think over time, people like you are experienced in bug bounty hunting develop an intuition as to, there is something out here, or maybe you develop that, there is nothing out here left for me to do, and it's time to move to the next chapter. So that development of intuition, that you can actually go and strike more attacks here, you can try more exploits here, you can collect more recon on this particular target. That is definitely something out here that you haven't landed your hands on. That intuition gets developed over experience, I feel.
Yes, yes, yes. It's a very funny thing. So, you know, people started. So there was I was testing one target, and there was one module where people started reporting excesses, and you know, company put that okay, fine, we are just excluding all the client side attacks like excesses, HTML injections on this particular module. Apart from that, if you find any sort of vulnerabilities, we are happy to reward you and go ahead and report it. I thought, why don't I, you know, there is something. That's why, you know, that's why there are lots of excesses are occurring on this particular module. I
Yeah.
ended up finding server side template injection over there. So yeah, so that's the thing, you know, by experience, you know, by hunting on a same program, by giving a time on that particular stuff, you will get, you know, get experience that okay, fine, you will get something.
Lovely. Awesome. So that is it from our side, viewers. And Arman, do you have any last moment tips that you might be want to give to the future bug bounty hunters or aspirational bug bounty hunters?
Yeah, what I'll give, just take care of your health. Sleep is very important, and always keep learning, and uh, yes, just don't give up if you don't
And
find
use AI
anyone.
where you can.
Yeah, use AI. Use AI. ChatGPT is very important in your life.
All right. So that is it from our end, team. Thank you, Arman, for sharing your insights. We definitely hope to see Arman for more of our podcasts where we speak into more specific vulnerabilities and deep dive into some of the more niche techniques of bug bounty hunting. For more content regarding bug bounty hunting and latest trends and techniques in cybersecurity, please do share the channel, subscribe the channel, and you know the drill. Thank you, everyone.